1 2 and I say, what's good, world? It's your man K back again on the live, just talking smack. You know, as odd as it may sound, when I do this, this is like a high tech way of talking to yourself. All my people out there that talk to themselves. What great technology we have now to not only talk to yourself, but record yourself speaking to yourself, so you can see how well you're talking to yourself and how it's perceived to others. It's a game changer. For real. Look, this is super random, because you know when it comes to the K Banger Variety Show, you don't know what you're gonna get when I'm on here talking smack. I want to give you a very short guide to visiting New Orleans. Crazy, I know. I lived in New Orleans for 2 years, and before moving there, it was probably the most I've heard about a place. I did my due diligence by going around to different people and asking about the city. I'm going to hone in on just two things that I didn't hear. But before that, I want to give you some of the things I did hear. Of course, the danger reputation came through. But I'm not too shook about that, because that's pretty much every major city in America right now. And in between. You know, it's really not safe out here. So people saying, New Orleans has a lot of violence and things going on there. I mean, that was in one ear and out the other, honestly. But I did encounter that in a couple ways. I encountered it through my friends that suffered traumatic injuries. I encountered it one-on-one in different instances. So I'm not going to say that it doesn't exist. That was one of the things. Of course, the alcohol, the amount of alcohol in the city. That's really more specific to the French Quarter. A lot of alcohol there. I heard an interesting story about a long time ago. I mean, back in the day, back in the Prohibition era, that there was a review being done by the government as to how fast one could obtain alcohol in a city. And every city had a certain amount of time, that by the time the agent got there, they timed how fast they can come into some alcohol. New Orleans being the fastest, within seconds of arriving in the city. Well, what else did I hear about New Orleans? I had an older gentleman. He was a very prominent. Who was that there? Oh, that was Belgium. What was I about to say? I lost my train of thought. Oh, older gentleman, successful man. He told me, very eerily, that, whatever you want in New Orleans, you can get it. Don't ask me the details on that. That's what he said. What comes to mind is my man, my brother John Bond, who said to me, if you don't find adventure in New Orleans, adventure will find you. He's right about that. And, of course, you have the death thing over New Orleans. It's very true. I just heard yesterday about a gentleman who in New Orleans slipped and fell in a hotel room on a wet floor in the bathroom and lost his life like that. I've heard stories about people being dismembered, found in different body parts, found in different places throughout the city. I had an interesting encounter. with I don't want to get too long-winded about it, but there was a horse I ran into that had my grandmother's name, and I was doing a taping for my mother's birthday. And while I was doing it, I ran into a horse that was my grandmother's name. I don't know. I have it on I have it on tape. I need to post this. I have it. I sent her a birthday greeting in which I was doing different things in the city, giving her different shout-outs from friends I made in the city. My man Gary was there. My man G, seventh letter, what up, was there to witness me coming. I was very emotional about it. And when I told him about it, it resonated with him. You know, and he told his family about it, all, originally from the 7th Ward. And they were like, yep, so I don't know, something about death in New Orleans has a certain kind of presence. But the two things they really didn't warn me about that I'm going to just give to you and then I'm cutting this off is the roads are awful. So out of all the things that people told me about New Orleans, one person after all that stuff told me, don't believe nothing you hear about New Orleans, and she was absolutely positively right about that. Absolutely right. It was a full 360. This is the worst place anyone could live, to don't believe nothing you hear about this city. Yeah, that's New Orleans. For real. It is. But the two things that, out of all those things that people had to say, two things they didn't tell me about was, one, the quality of the roads and how awful they are. It's probably the worst roads I've seen in a city outside of Jamaica, Westmoreland, Jamaica, or something like that, where the people have to pay for their own road repairs. It's not handled by the city. The neighbors have to chip in and pay for their own road repairs in Jamaica. So they didn't prepare me for that, and they didn't tell me that the auto insurance is the highest in the nation there. Oh, people paying $700 a month for full coverage with AAA in New Orleans. The highest auto insurance rate in the nation. I experienced that firsthand. I even stopped driving for a while because of it. And I was a top 85 percentile earner in the state. So I hope this helps. Sayonara.